Since making his debut in 2005, it's hard to argue whether there's been a better left-back in world football than Marcelo. Over the last 2 decades, he's won 30 trophies, including 5 Champions League. But what happens if you simulate his career on Football Manager 2007? Let's find out. Despite his young years, he's already a formidable defender. Thus far in his career, he's only played for Fluminense and has just arrived at Madrid, his first European club. In 2006, the Galactico era was just coming to an end. Zidane had departed, Beckham was on his way to LA. But there was no shortage of quality remaining. Marcelo had the ideal tutor in Roberto Carlos. Likewise in the centre of defence, there's more experience with a 32-year-old Fabio Cannavaro. It's going to be interesting to see what he can achieve in this squad. Let's advance a few years and see what happens. Marcelo's been a busy man. Risking the Luis Figo treatment, he's moved to Madrid's arch-rivals Barcelona. It wasn't quite that straightforward though. He spent 1 year in the Spanish capital before moving to Portuguese side Sporting Club. It was a side with a lot of young quality. Nani and João Moutinho were just breaking through as Marcelo arrived. The closest they came to a league title was a second-place finish to rivals Porto. In cup competitions, though, they've had plenty of success. A Nilmar hat-trick would secure their second of 3 consecutive Portuguese cup wins. After a brief and rather forgettable spell with Tottenham, it was Barcelona who signed him for £13 million. In his first 2 seasons with the Catalan club, he's been ever-present as they've won back-to-back La Liga titles. It's not been all plain sailing, though. Entering the Champions League semi-final second leg, Barcelona held a 3-0 lead against his former club. A 3-0 loss, followed by the penalty shootout, meant chance for European glory had slipped away. The following season, Barcelona were top Group H and move into the knockout rounds. A 3-1 aggregate victory against Porto and then Real Zaragoza set up a chance for revenge against Madrid in the final. Just after half-time, Per Mertesacker miscontrols. He then shows the recovery speed of a snail as Raul Garcia breaks through. He's in on the keeper and fires the ball into the back of the net. 1 goal would prove enough. Barcelona were champions of Europe. Internationally, Marcelo's been a regular with Brazil. Thus far, there's not been much to cheer about though. Despite topping the group in the 2014 World Cup, Brazil would be eliminated in the first knockout round. Barcelona continued to be busy in the transfer market. Funnily enough, assembling a team of ex-Real Madrid players. They'll be hoping to continue this successful period. Let's see what the future holds for Marcelo. 5 more years have passed. Marcelo has returned to the Premier League. For around £25 million, he joined Liverpool in 2015. Aside from a couple of Super Cups, he didn't win any more trophies with the Catalan club. His final game for them came in another Champions League final. This time Real Madrid would triumph 3-0. In his first few seasons with Liverpool, they've struggled a bit in the league, finishing 4th and then 9th. But there's been reason to cheer too. After a penalty shootout victory against Sheffield United, Liverpool won the League Cup in 2018. A few months later, they completed a cup double, winning the FA Cup final against Man City. After a disappointing Copa America in 2015, Brazil entered the World Cup with low expectations. After some questionable defending by Micah Richards, Marcelo would ensure his nation earned a 1-0 victory against England. 7 points was enough for them to top the group and move into the knockouts. In the first 2 knockout rounds, Brazil overcame Croatia and Holland to set up a semi-final clash. Due to an injury crisis, Marcelo was deployed as a defensive midfielder. His defence-cutting pass set up Giovanni, who went on to open the scoring. That goal was enough. Brazil were on the way to a World Cup final. Deep into extra time, on the biggest stage, it was the simplest of goals. Brazil would triumph, and Marcelo was a world champion. Back to England though, and despite amassing just 63 points, Liverpool somehow managed to finish second. Maybe the Brazilian can finally get his hands on that elusive Premier League trophy. Let's advance towards the end of his career. It's 2023, and Marcelo plans to retire from professional football shortly. At the age of 35, he now plays for Real Betis. He spent 6 years with Liverpool before departing in 2021. In 2020, with 7 goals, he enjoyed the best scoring season of his career so far. And finally, he got his hands on the trophy which had eluded him. In his 7th season in English football, the Merseyside club would edge out Newcastle by 5 points. At Betis, initially he showed some good form, helping the club to back-to-back top 3 finishes. Unfortunately, time is beginning to catch up with him though, and his performances began to drop. He retires from football with 756 appearances, 47 goals and 83 assists. He's won 13 trophies in 3 different countries. He triumphed in a Champions League final against Real Madrid and also played a large part as his nation won the World Cup in 2018. Marcelo has proved himself to be one of the best fullbacks in the history of football. As Real Madrid move into a new era, they'll be hard pressed to find someone who can emulate what the Brazilian achieved. Thank you for watching this video.